Morning, Russell. First of all, Theo Walcott has announced his retirement this morning. Can you just give us a quick word on that? A popular figure here, of course.
Yeah, brilliant career. Very well liked here. I think it's quite nice that he started and finished here, isn't it? It's a nice way to sort of tie up his story. But yeah, brilliant career. Really, really fantastic. And from the outside, obviously, I haven't worked with him or anything, but excellent pro, excellent person, and everyone backs that up here. So I thought he still had a bit of football left in him, to be honest, but he's made the decision on his terms, which I think is the best way you can go out as a player. So yeah, he obviously feels ready for the next step. Wish him nothing but the best. And I think everyone here would echo those sentiments and thank him for everything he did when he was here both times, and wish him all the very best in whatever comes next.
Definitely. Got to talk a bit about transfers now.
Have we?
We understand a bid has been submitted by Everton for Shay Adams. Will that potentially impact his involvement this weekend? And is he a player that you'd be very reluctant to lose, especially at this stage?
Well, I don't know anything about the bid, so if it happened, it would have happened late last night. I've not had a chance to catch up with Jason this morning, so I'll wait to hear about that. And it will all depend on how close the bid is, I guess, to the valuation of us as a club and how we see Shay. I'd love to keep him. Being really honest, I think he's shown the impact he can have in this league in the two games. He probably found himself not starting the season, not purely down to us wanting Adam in the team, Adam Armstrong, but also because at the time he got less minutes than Adam, because at the time it was looking like he was going elsewhere, and that didn't happen for whatever reason. It just stopped. So he found himself out of the team for that reason. His reaction's been incredible. He's a fantastic character. Really, really good player. Really good player. And in the last week or two, really started to just his energy's been great, and really started to see what he can bring us. So I would be really gutted to lose him, but at the same time, if he ends up going, it will be for the sum of money that the club deem appropriate, and the sum of money I presume means we can then go and replace him. But ideally, you want to keep some players, and some players of real value in terms of character and what he brings. But again, we just have to be ready and prepared for if we do lose him, and I think we will be. So, yeah, all being well, he will still be here in 2.5 weeks' time. If he's not, then we'll have someone else in the door that we're really, really happy with. But I love him as a person. I really mean that. He's top drawer as a character.
That's a really interesting point, though. Like, you're speaking about incomings. You've had a few exits, as we know. James Ward-Prowse and Romeo's pretty close now as well. It's clear that you need some incomings. Do you feel like you're hoping to get more than one or two through the door, before the transfer?
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, I think we'll get more than that in. We would have had one in this week, but he's not been very well. So Flynn will be done when it's done, really. Hopefully that'll be soon. And then after that, yeah, I think we're working on lots of things. But it's the transfer window, and then something's close and you think it's done and it's not. So we will add one or two for sure, like fairly quickly, fairly soon, and the rest will be dependent on who goes. But we've gone from having a lot of players to looking a lot skinnier, the squad for this weekend. So, but I think you just have to accept that. When the transfer window closes and everything settles down, it'll be much easier. It'll be a much easier job for us. It'll be a much easier job for the players. Jason, I don't know how he's dealing with it the last couple of weeks. The phone is just relentless. I don't envy his job one bit at the moment. So yeah, it will settle down at some point, and when it does, we'll be happy. I'm really confident we'll be really happy with the squad we've got.
And just finally on that, midfield is a really important area for you to try and strengthen before the window shuts, is it?
Well, I think losing Romeo and Prowse, yeah, would suggest that. Even with Flynn coming in, we probably could do with another body in there at some point. So yeah, I don't want to come out here and pretend. I think it's probably we're looking to add in as many areas as we can to improve the squad, but also obviously some positions are much more heavily loaded than others. So yeah, again, we'll just have to wait and see. I genuinely am relaxed about it because I can't control much of it, like the noise, the speculation when people go, if they go. Our job is to coach the team, and whichever players are fit and available, we'll do that. But yeah, I think to add a few bodies to the group, good character, good people, and good ability and good talent, obviously, that'll be really important for us.
And just looking back at the first couple of championship games, you must be pleased with the goals you've been scoring. Really sort of good numbers for Shay, and speaking of Shay and Adam as well. But are you sort of concerned a little about the ones that you conceded a little bit?
Well, we conceded one shot on target against Sheffield Wednesday. So yeah, Norwich is like a 90 minutes of learning really, or 100 minutes, whatever it was. It's our job as coaches to make sure it doesn't happen again and to prevent that. So early on, to have the identity they have and to be doing the stuff they're doing on the ball, I'm so impressed with the players and so proud of them for that. So then we have to find a balance, but at the start we have to aim for like the ultimate vision of the team really. You can't really compromise early, so we're trying to get them to do something with the ball that they've not done before, and are doing incredible things, like amazing things really, which I've been so not surprised by, but the speed of the learning and how willing they are to do it, and the fact they've made both games look like that with the ball, been so impressed. So they're probably, you give something up to do that, and we gave too much up on Saturday against Norwich, so it's our job to make sure we bring that back without taking too much away with the ball, if that makes sense. It's about finding balance, and I don't think we expected to find that within 6 weeks or 2 games in the Championship, but we will. And but like I said, so much excitement about what we can do with this group of players moving forward because of what they've given us over the 2 games already. So early on, we're going to improve in a lot of ways. We have to improve in a lot of ways. But the fact the identity of the team looks so clear after 2 games, I'm really proud of them for that. I'm really, really grateful for that, and it's our job now to make sure we adapt and tweak game on game and make sure we improve and keep learning.
And in Plymouth this weekend, what kind of test are they going to give you?
Well, they're good. They're really good. So they've had a brilliant season last season. Stephen's a fantastic coach, really good guy, good players who believe a lot in him and what they're doing. They have momentum. They've started the season well. They can mix their game up very, very well. They have some good individuals. So it'll be a good test for us, and it's a good atmosphere there. It's a good place to play, and they've got a real fan base that are really behind the group of players and the coaching staff and what they do. They have a clear way of doing things, so we no doubt about it. Like this league is so difficult, and to have 2 teams that are promoted so early on in the season, last season, is not easy away from home. But we'll go there. The game will be, the preparation has been about us, but whilst being aware of them and what they possess. But we need, the challenge is for us to try and turn the game into what we want it to everywhere we go, and to be the team we want to be everywhere we go. So we have another chance to do that in front of the Sky cameras. We have another chance to show people how much we believe in what we're doing and the team we're going to be. So yes, exciting.
And just finally from me, it's been a great week for the Lionesses getting through the World Cup final. It's been a great week for English football in that sense. What do you think of the job that Serena Wiegmann's done? And will you be watching the final on Sunday and cheering you?
Yeah, it's been amazing. Yeah, it will be. Yeah. So obviously as a proud Scotsman, I can't. I'm really need to sort it out, by the way. It's been amazing. So we had an open training session, and the game was going on. So we watched the first half in the office before the open training session on Wednesday, and then every time a goal come on, they put it on the big screen, and the reaction from the crowd. Everyone's so behind it. There was so many England shirts as well as Southampton ones with the fans in the open training session the other day. It's an amazing achievement to win the Euros, to get to the final. So whatever happens now, and I really hope they win it. I think they've got better as the tournament's gone on. But whatever happens now, to boost the profile the way they've done, it's going to be like, it's going to be stratospheric for the women's game in this country and in Britain, hopefully in the whole of the UK. So I think it's been amazing. Gilly, the assistant manager's daughter, Holly, is the biggest Lionesses fan, so we'll all be watching it on Sunday, and we wish them nothing but the best. And I really hope that they can win it, because they've obviously created something really special in terms of their team spirit, their togetherness, what they do, how they do it. So yeah, I really hope they can go and finish it off.
There's been a lot of talk about Serena Wiegmann as well, and what might happen for her next. Do you think that she's a sort of manager that you can see working in the men's game?
Does she want to work in the men's game? So why is that like the pinnacle for her, or why are we talking about it in that way? To win the women's World Cup is an incredible achievement. So I'm pretty sure she'll have a choice of what to do next, but I don't think like it should be seen as, does she want to come work in the men's game? We probably need to change that mindset around it, really, because the women's game is growing, really, really impressive. We've watched a few games here with Marianne and what they're doing here as well, which is really great. So yeah, I don't see it should be like, you win the Women's World Cup, why would she then be in a rush to go and try and get into the men's game and stuff like that? So yeah, I think she's doing a great job. Whatever she wants to do next, she'll do great. If that's in a men's game, then it will happen at some point, right? But I guess only if she wants to, or someone else, another female manager chooses to do that. And but with the way it's growing and the professionalism, I just don't see why she'd want to do that, really.
I suppose we might just see another serial.
Because it's crazy. The men's game's crazy. So.
Cheers, Russell.
Just going back to Shay, just to ruin your morning more. He's actually into the last year of his contract. So one thing we don't know is have Southampton actually tried to keep him, or is it that he needs to go to the Premier League and he wants to go, so there's no point? You could offer him a new contract, he might think twice.
Well, I think it all depends on the next couple of weeks, really. So there's been like discussions with Shay and between myself, Jason, his agent, just about what the future holds, and I think everyone's decided to keep our options open, really, Shay and the club. If he's still here in 2 weeks, I'm sure it's a conversation that will be ongoing. So I think Shay's very happy here. I think he's a big part of it. His family is settled. He is a big part of the dressing room for sure. And I think he's enjoying what we're doing. And obviously the couple of goals he's got already, he's already grown in confidence. So yeah, we'll just have to wait and see, right? I think ideally you try and prevent people going into the last year of the contract. It's happened and it's worked out this way for a number of reasons. And we now have to deal with the situation.
Just a chat about Stuart Armstrong, a fellow Scottish international, of course, like Shay. I think a couple of years ago, he wanted to be a central midfielder as opposed to being a winger. And now you've put him in that position as one of the three, and you've lost James and now Will's injury and Romeo. So he's like the senior figure in there. How important is he becoming as the sort of evolution of the squad takes shape?
Yeah, so I know Stu well because we played together, and I know how good he can be. I think he's found it quite difficult sometimes, the role he's played in the last season or two, and I've never seen him as a winger. I've always only ever been with him as a midfielder and a central midfielder, and saw what he did at Celtic and how good he was there, and at Dundee United before that. Brilliant footballer, really talented, really talented footballer. One of the best people I've seen just moving with the ball, so smooth. So he's been in a a difficult place where he's been desperate to get back to a certain role and do things in a certain way. And I think over the weeks, as the weeks have gone by, he's looked at it and gone, actually, this could really suit me. And I think it does. I think he's not quite fit yet. He's not fully fit. He missed a bit of pre-season and he come back a bit later, and so he's getting up to speed. But I think he's shown already on the pitch what impact he can have. And I think he's a really outstanding player that we need to just bring back to life and showcase his full potential and his ability. And I think the formation will do that for him, the way we play will do that for him, and hopefully he's feeling that. And it's just nice to see him smiling again and enjoying his football, and I think we need to keep him in that place, because if we can, I think we will, and he will. If we can, I think he'll be so important for us. He's won things as well, and he's been there, and he's played for a huge club with huge expectation and dealt with it so well. So now we have a bit of expectation for sure, and we are trying to win something. So his experience of that is going to be really important.
At the other end of his career is Shay Charles, who may well have to play now and start games because of the injuries and the exits. How ready is he at his young age to actually take on that sort of 90-minute responsibility?
Yeah, I think he's fine. Yeah, he's just don't think of Shay as that young, because the way he carries himself is really mature, really intelligent. Yeah, he acts like he's an old head on young shoulders. So been really impressed with him. I knew we were signing a really good player, and just how quickly he learns and takes on information. And he come on the other day and just made the game look really. We settled the game down for us and really helped us, and it made it look easy for him. And Gillingham would have been really important for him because it was a tough night for us as a group. But I think it was really important for him and his learning, and there's one real positive we took out of that. Amongst a couple, there wasn't many, but one we took from that was Shay and how much he'll take from that game and live in that moment, because he hasn't done it yet in a competitive game. So he built on that against Norwich, and if he needs to play tomorrow, he'll be more than ready.
Just a word on Plymouth's front three. They're quite a combination. I mean, two bargain players you'd thought at £1 million each, Whittaker and Mumba from Norwich, of course, and I think they're probably the toughest test of the season you've had going there, possibly. I mean,
Yeah, they're good.
They're quite scary.
Yeah, they're good. So I played with Ryan at Rangers, Ryan Hardy. So I know what he possesses, and he was very young at that point. I was very old, but yeah, he's good. Great movement. Morgan is really capable of really good moments. Having worked with him, obviously, and he's found a home there. And like football, sometimes is so much about timing and opportunity and fit, and he really fits into what the Stephen wants, and he feels really at home there. And then obviously Bally's done really well the other side. He's playing a bit of a different role than he has done previously, and he looks like he's thriving in it. So yeah, it'll be an interesting challenge for us. And our job is to obviously limit their opportunities and prevent the supply to them, and to try and dominate as much of the games we possibly can. But we're under no illusion it'll be a really interesting game. It'll be a tough game, but really confident if the lads can keep up their levels that we can go there and put in a good performance.
Is it one of those where you go, oh no, I sent him out on loan, he's going to come back and haunt me?
No, not really. No, not at all. I never feel like that. So I think like you weigh everything up at the time, and what Stephen demands from him is very different to what I would have at Swansea. And it's never personal. I really like Morgan. Really good kid. Really nice young man, and has lots of talent. It just wasn't what we required at the time, and he's gone out and found a really good fit for him, and I'm really pleased for him. I'd like nothing more than to see him go on and be really successful. I mean that. I don't worry about like if you make decisions based on fear of like, oh, it might make you look bad at some point. In football, I don't think there's a lot of right or wrong decisions. It's all about timing and opportunity and how you fit into some. Like players will look very different in our team as they would in Plymouth's team, as they would in someone else's team, because of the fit and what they naturally possess. So yeah, I'm really pleased for him. He's done really well last season, and he got his wish. He should have stayed there last season, so he should have stayed there and finished the season. He didn't, so he's got his wish of going back there, and I'm pleased for him.
Just on Stephen Schumacher finally, it's not often an assistant takes over for a manager. When Ryan Lowe's goes, everyone goes, oh, they're all going to go, and he chose to stay. And that often is a hard one when assistants take over, because the relationship with the players is very different to the manager. Sometimes you're the conduit, aren't you, between the players and the manager. So it's such an impressive job, and their home form is so damn good that you think, well, you know, what's he done to continue what Ryan did, or did they just have a great setup where it's like put him in there and he carried on the same way? I mean, it's just a very impressive job, isn't it?
Yeah, so he was obviously a big part of what Ryan did. It's the same as me. Like, it's not just me; it's our whole coaching staff. Gilly, Carl now, Dean, Reese, Ben, who's come with me. The guys now we've inherited as well. So it's never like just the manager. I think people make that mistake all the time. Is why it is we and it's not I. So like, obviously you're the man responsible for it at the end of the day. But yeah, like. Stephen's obviously carried on so much of the work they were doing and imprinted his own stuff, and also he moved down there, he moved his family down there, he bought into it, and I think people feel that when you do that and you're all in. So he's been able to carry on the good work they've done, and he's a good person, so it's no surprise. I think the players had a lot of respect for him, and I think the biggest thing, he probably hasn't changed. So like, a lot of people make the mistake when they step into the manager's seat of whether they come as I did as a player straight away to a manager, which obviously doesn't happen very often, a coach or an academy coach or an assistant manager, then feel they need to change, and they get in this seat and don't know what takes over, but they have to change something for some reason, and he hasn't. So I think that's the best thing. He's been authentic, he's been himself, and it's no surprise he's done really well.
Okay, we'll move on for 10:30. Alfie.
This was Harrisel. I've spoken to a couple of Plymouth fans this week. I think they think that there's a few similarities between the way your team play and the way Stephen's team plays. Is that something that you've seen in your analysis as well?
Yeah, I think we probably share a lot of similar values, but we'll probably also share a lot of different ones. Yeah, definitely. They're very different. They're very flexible, but when they can, they try and dominate the ball and try and play from the goalkeeper to the final third. So yeah, but they're able to mix it up pretty well. I think that's a real strength of theirs, and they did last season. They always found a way to win. So yeah, I've been impressed by him. Like, I've got nothing but positive things to say about him and what he's doing there. And as you know, speaking to their fans, they probably really enjoying what they've done. So that's why it makes it a tough test for us. But I hope we can go there and turn the game into one that we want. And I'm confident we can with the players we've got. But no game's going to be easy in this league. And we're on Sky. They're playing against. They've had a good start. And they'll be desperate to show what they can do against our players. So it'll be really. I'm just really excited about every challenge that comes, and this is a different one to Norwich. It's a different one to Sheffield Wednesday, and then the one that follows this one will be different to this one, and that's the beauty of the Championship. Every test is different.
But this one leads to quite an open game, isn't it? Sheffield Wednesday, where they play a very different way, very sort of 10 men behind the ball and let you have that possession. And is it going to be different this time? Could it be a really open game?
No, Norwich did the same. We just had a bit more pace and power to. I think Norwich came to press us and changed the game quickly because of how good the lads and brave the lads were on the ball. So it looked a bit more like the Sheffield Wednesday one. Norwich spent very little time in our final third, which is why it's even more frustrating that they scored 4 goals. So our aim is to try and turn it into a game like the Sheffield Wednesday one. Of course, it's not easy. You have to really earn the right to do that, and you have to make sure you stick to the detail and you manage the moments in the game where maybe the temperature goes up a little bit, especially away from home, and you have to manage that really well. So our job is to manage them moments better than we did against Norwich. And that'll be the test for us. But yeah, I don't go into. We try and give the game context for the players, tactically, emotionally, what we expect. Sometimes it can be really different in the approach from the opposition. So it's why we don't work all week on the opposition and then they throw something different at you in terms of shape or their approach. So we try and prepare the players for everything really, as much as you can, and then to give them an understanding of what we think is coming. And you hope you get that right more often than not. So yeah, hopefully we've got that right.
You spoke about Jack Stevens a lot in the last couple of weeks, obviously becoming captain. I think you mentioned about Theo Walcott sort of starting here and finishing here. Jack Stevens by no means finished, but he's going back to Plymouth after 11, 12 years coming from Southampton as the captain of the club for the first time. Will that be something that he thinks about before the game?
Well, I think it'd be nice for him. I think it'd be really, really nice for him. But I think once the whistle goes, it might, it'll be the sentimentality there, and I'm sure he'll have family there, and it'll be a good moment for him to do that, and that's why I'm sure he'll be even more desperate to win and make sure it's a good day for him. But yeah, I don't think anything phases Jack really, and I also don't think he's in it for individual accolades and all that stuff. He's a proper team player, but yeah, it'll be nice for him. It'll be nice for us if we can go there and win for him and make it a nice day.
I know you asked about Will at the fans forum. Is there anything else you can say about Will's injury at the moment?
No, it's coming along nicely. It's not going to be really long term, so we're not really concerned about it. Yeah. It's just going to rule him out for this weekend, and then we'll take it each day as it comes. The oldest cliche in the book, but it's true, especially with an injury. But he's recovering really quickly. He's healing really, really well. So the quicker we can get him back in, the better. Because he gives us more flexibility, gives us good understanding. He's been really impressive, Will. Really, really impressive, and hopefully he'll be a big part of what we're doing. We just need to get him fit quickly.
Adam mentioned the chairman was in the last year of his contract. There's been loads of reports saying that you projected offers for Will Smallbone. Is there any chance of getting him to sign a new contract in the next few weeks or months?
I hope so. Yeah, again, talks have been ongoing. I think Will wanted to come back and see how he fits in, see the new way of working. He feels like he's done enough last season to really come back here and stake a claim and be a big player for the club, which is what he wants. But then obviously it needs to be right for him, and there's definitely been interest in him from other teams in the Championship and in the Premier League because of how well he'd done last season. But I think the club's been really clear with Will that we want him here. I want him here. Jason wants him here. I think he's an academy graduate. We have to really buy into those players if we're going to be serious about that and say we want players in the team. Because often, you hear it and it's a bit lip service, but genuinely we want people who care about the club and have been here a long time. And Jack's really important with that as well. Now we have some young guys coming through as well who will be important. So Will, for many reasons, ticks a lot of boxes: character, talent, grown up here, cares. So hopefully it's something we can get sorted very quickly.
Just finally, I wanted to ask about the fitness of the squad generally. I noticed there was no Alex McCarthy at the open training this week. Is he fit and available for the squad this weekend? Is there anybody else who hasn't been available yet who is now? Yeah, so
Armel wasn't there because he's been ill, and that's dragged on a bit longer than we would have liked. So to then go and expose him to 2,000 kids signing loads of autographs, I don't think it would have been very sensible. And Al's just the same. He took a whack in training the day before. Well, he took one against Gillingham and it sort of dragged on a little bit. So just trying to manage him really. And we have all the facilities here while Will wasn't there as well. So the injured guys basically were, and he's not injured, he's not out for a long time, but people who needed managing were left back here because the facilities we have for the physio rather than go to the stadium and not be able to do much. So yeah, that was all really.